In wooden ships on frozen seas, the Vikings sailed without fire. How did they survive the impossible cold? Picture yourself drifting back through the gentle mists of time to a winter evening around the year 1000, where the vast North Atlantic stretches out like a dark, rolling blanket beneath the sky. Waves rise and fall in their eternal rhythm, cradling a wooden longship as temperatures slowly descend into the freezing realm. Soft crystals of ice begin to form upon the rigging, and the breath of sailors drifts upward like quiet whispers dissolving into the Arctic air. For weeks upon the open water, these seafarers rest exposed to conditions that seem impossible to endure. They have no cabin to shelter within, no walls to separate them from the embracing cold. And perhaps most remarkably of all, they carry no means to kindle a warming flame. So how did these peaceful voyagers find comfort crossing the most challenging waters upon the earth without any warmth aboard their vessels? The answer unfolds gently, like a story meant for dreaming. Quiet excavations from 8 ancient ship sites have revealed a serene truth. These northern sailors never warmed their ships, not with braziers, not with hearths, not with any flame at all. This was not a lack of knowledge, but rather a thoughtful choice, a careful decision that placed safety gently above comfort. Through strategies refined over generations, they enabled peaceful journeys across vast distances and the patient discovery of distant lands. The story begins with a simple maritime understanding that unfolds like soft candlelight. Fire and wooden vessels do not rest easily together. When sailing in a craft made entirely of pine and oak and carefully tarred rope, even a single ember does not merely risk warmth, it risks everything precious. How do we know these seafarers truly sailed without flame? The answer comes from the ships themselves, resting quietly for 1,000 years, waiting patiently to share their story. The most complete evidence emerges from a peaceful fjord, where 5 ancient vessels lay hidden beneath the gentle waters for nearly a millennium. These ships, ranging from sleek warships to sturdy cargo vessels and humble fishing boats, were carefully studied by patient researchers. Teams recovered water barrels and tool chests, ballast stones and traces of preserved provisions. Yet across all 5 vessels, representing different purposes and designs, not a single warming device was found. No brazier, no hearth, nothing to suggest fire ever burned aboard. This peaceful absence continues at every major discovery of ancient northern ships. One vessel from the 9th century contained elaborate cooking vessels, but these were offerings for the eternal journey beyond, never meant for use upon the waves. Another ship featured extensive water storage systems, yet contained no cooking facilities whatsoever. Even recent excavations using gentle ground scanning techniques found no apparatus for cooking or warming. The ancient law codes confirm this tranquil pattern, describing daily shore visits for ship cooks, 1 for gathering water and 2 for preparing meals upon solid ground. Stories from the old sagas describe drawing lots to determine who would prepare food, but this refers to shore-based preparation, not cooking while floating upon the sea. So these northern voyagers certainly did not use fire while sailing. But why accept such embracing cold rather than risk even a carefully controlled flame? The answer rests in the peaceful reality of wooden ship safety. These vessels used overlapping planks sealed with natural tar, gaps filled with animal hair and wool, rigging protected with pine pitch. The sail itself, woven from dense wool and treated with animal fat for water resistance, was essentially waiting for any spark. But the true consideration was the completely open design. Unlike later vessels with enclosed decks, these ships were vast open boats. No barriers, no fire breaks, no way to contain a spreading glow. A fire in such conditions could transform an entire vessel in mere moments. Every surface contained materials that welcomed flame too eagerly. For these thoughtful sailors, fire meant certain loss of everything they carried. If these voyagers could not use fire, resting upon frozen seas for weeks without warmth, how did they possibly find comfort? The answer required reimagining warmth itself. Preserved textile evidence reveals sophisticated layered clothing systems that could retain body heat even when damp, a gentle advantage over many materials known today. Different grades of wool served different purposes, some for blocking wind, others for insulation, still others for managing moisture. The most remarkable discovery comes from preserved clothing and the old stories. These sailors practiced daily sleeve modifications for keeping warmth close. According to the ancient tales, crew members would use bone needles and wax thread to seal sleeves tight at the wrists each morning, not tied or buttoned, but carefully sewn closed. This created a peaceful seal preventing precious heat from escaping. Before landing or other activities, they would gently cut themselves free. This daily ritual was part of something larger, a thoughtful approach to textile comfort. Burial sites from the northern settlements show specialized winter garments, outer layers from seal skin for maritime crews, fur-lined clothing from wolf and bear, and evidence of this sleeve-sealing practice in preserved garments. The layering system worked with gentle sophistication. Each layer cooperated with the others to create what might be called a portable shelter of warmth. But even this careful clothing could not preserve body heat during the long, peaceful hours of sleep. That is when these voyagers employed their most thoughtful solution. Set aside any image of solitary figures wrapped in individual furs. The reality was far more intimate and effective. These sailors used communal sleeping arrangements described in multiple ancient sources. The old stories mention shared sleeping spaces using what they called waterproof skin bags, two-person sleeping enclosures made of sheepskin with fur lining, designed not for privacy but for peaceful survival. Two bodies in an insulated space generate warmth together. These enclosures could maintain internal temperatures many degrees warmer than the outside air using only the gentle heat of resting bodies. These were not luxury items but standard equipment for sea voyages. Crews were assigned sleeping partners based on watch schedules. When one sailor stood watch, their body heat had already warmed the shared space. When they exchanged places, the second person entered an already comfortable environment. The sleeping area never fully cooled. The sleeping arrangement itself showed thoughtful design. Crews rested between rowing benches on platforms created from stored oars, staying above the coldest air near the bottom of the vessel. The sail, when lowered, became a gentle tent over the entire ship, capturing warm air from dozens of resting bodies. Even wealthy travelers shared these communal arrangements. Ship leaders received no special warming privileges. The requirements of survival gently set aside social distinctions during voyages. But maintaining body warmth in such conditions required substantial nourishment from food that could not be cooked. These voyagers consumed preserved provisions specifically designed for cold consumption. Trading post-excavations revealed the preparation methods. Dried fish that remained nourishing for months, ship biscuits and nut bread that would not spoil in salt spray, and cold porridge systems prepared before departure. The porridge preparation, described in the old stories, was particularly thoughtful. Cooks would prepare large quantities with added butter and salt for preservation. This mixture would settle into a dense, nourishing paste that could be eaten directly or mixed with cold water. These provisions supplied the substantial nourishment essential for cold weather comfort. Archaeological sites show the scale of this preparation. Extensive stores of dried fish, sturdy biscuits, and fermented dairy products designed for extended voyages without cooking. But where did these sailors develop such sophisticated systems? The answer comes from their extensive support on land. These voyagers were not actually upon the sea continuously. Recent coastal surveys have uncovered extensive harbor networks for regular shore visits. over 200 documented sites stretching from northern lands to distant western shores. The scale of these operations only became clear with patient modern study. Research at various sites revealed what these bases actually provided. Winter camps spanning large areas with proper hearth systems, workshops, and family accommodations. These warming stations supported entire fleet operations through proper rest and food preparation that was simply not possible at sea. On land, these people possessed thoughtful cooking technology that evidence shows never transferred to ships. Excavations uncover riveted iron pots with integrated supports, specialized suspension chains for hearth cooking, and stone vessels with gentle thermal properties. These systems served exclusively during beached operations. Longhouse designs from northern settlements demonstrate careful understanding of airflow patterns, smoke management, and efficient central hearth placement. Yet these innovations never appeared in shipboard applications due to fundamental safety considerations. These voyagers possessed the knowledge for shipboard warming. They thoughtfully chose not to use it. But why choose calculated discomfort when other cultures found warming solutions? While northern sailors traveled without fire, southern cultures had developed onboard cooking systems centuries earlier. Archaeological work revealed ships with bronze braziers and specialized stoves. Southern vessels included dedicated cooking areas with chimney systems and proper ventilation. Northern European sailors were not unique in avoiding shipboard fires. Similar patterns appear in neighboring maritime cultures. No shipboard warming systems, reliance on cold provisions, and shore-based cooking strategies. But Southern innovations did not transfer northward due to different construction methods and climate priorities. These northern voyagers made a thoughtful trade-off. Eliminating warming equipment preserved cargo capacity and achieved superior speed. Important advantages for both peaceful trading and swift departures. Could modern sailors find comfort in the same conditions using authentic historical methods? Modern experimental voyages confirm these traditional techniques work beautifully. A voyage in recent years using an authentic reconstruction proved that properly equipped crews using historical methods can find comfort during extended cold water sailing without any warming systems. The expedition demonstrated that shared sleeping arrangements, communal clothing maintenance, and coordinated watch rotations were absolutely essential for cold weather comfort. The combination of appropriate wool clothing, social warming techniques, and weather awareness kept crew temperatures in comfortable ranges even during challenging crossings. But the physical systems required psychological support strategies that proved equally important for well-being. Evidence from over 50 ancient camps contain more than 300 gaming pieces, dice, board games, and carved entertainment items. Researchers have noted that crews invested significant time in social activities during challenging conditions. These were not mere entertainment, but thoughtful psychological strategies that complemented physical warming techniques. Gaming, storytelling, and friendly competition helped crews find comfort during difficult moments by maintaining peaceful spirits. These seafarers understood intuitively that mental state directly affected physical comfort, what we might now recognize as the connection between mind and body warmth. Strategic voyage planning also eased psychological concerns. These voyagers generally avoided winter sailing entirely, operating within carefully considered weather windows that made comfort achievable rather than heroic. They timed voyages to follow seasonal patterns, maximizing shore contact rather than enduring endless cold exposure. These northern seafarers mastered the North Atlantic not despite their lack of shipboard warming, but because of their thoughtful decision to set it aside entirely. Archaeological evidence from 8 major excavations peacefully establishes that they did not warm their ships during voyages. This was not technological limitation, but careful safety consideration. They placed vessel integrity and crew well-being above onboard comfort. Their remarkable success flowed from sophisticated alternatives to warming advanced wool technology that functioned when damp, thoughtful social warming systems using shared body heat, strategic voyage planning with extensive shore-based support, and comprehensive provisioning designed for cold consumption. Rather than rugged warriors enduring constant harsh conditions, these were strategic maritime planners who developed sustainable solutions for cold weather navigation. They balanced mobility, safety, and crew welfare through careful planning and innovative cooperation, not mere endurance. These peaceful voyagers reached distant western lands 5 centuries before later explorers. They established trade routes stretching across vast distances. They shaped the medieval world through maritime knowledge. They achieved it all in open boats, thoughtfully choosing to sail without fire. When winter wind moves through your evening, when you instinctively reach for warmth, remember that these ancient sailors made a conscious choice to set aside such comfort. They chose strategic capability over warmth, operational safety over individual ease, collective well-being over personal comfort. They did not merely endure the cold. They systematically transformed their entire approach to rest peacefully within it. They restructured their social patterns around it. They reimagined what was possible within its gentle constraints. In the end, these northern voyagers did not need to warm their ships because they had discovered something far more meaningful: how to warm themselves through cooperation, planning, and thoughtful wisdom. And in that transformation, from comfort-seeking to cold-adapted maritime travelers, they became masters of the northern seas. Now, as you rest peacefully in your own warmth, let the image of those ancient ships drift gently through your mind, sailing quietly across moonlit waters, their crews resting together in shared comfort, dreaming of distant shores as the stars wheel slowly overhead, and the gentle rhythm of the waves carries them safely through the night.